Well, what I can say is that, yes, this area is still very much sealed off by police, including armed police, around the tube station here at Parsons Green in West London. Now, there was an explosion, the police say, from an improvised explosive device, which took place shortly before 8:20 a.m. local time this morning, around 9:20 Paris time. We've just had an update from the National Health Service here in the UK. They're saying that a total of 22 people have now been taken to hospital. That's up from 18 previously. The majority of those believed to be suffering from flash burns, according to the Metropolitan Police. There are also reports, as yet I think unconfirmed, that the device was detonated by a timer.
So that then you're saying is unconfirmed, what we're hearing about the timer. Duncan, where does the investigation go from here?
Well, there are apparently hundreds of police involved in this investigation. That includes ordnance experts who are down on the tube at the moment, looking at the device on that train carriage and also the various explosive fragments and the direction of the blast. A lot to piece together by those forensic experts. There will be a focus, of course, on the perpetrators. It would seem that this wasn't, in this case, a suicide bombing, so an investigation taking place as to who detonated this, who placed the device on the tube. Quite often with these sorts of devices, they're detonated. There's only a short time until detonation, so there is a working theory out there that the person who placed it would have got off the tube shortly before the detonation, maybe a few stops before Parsons Green. So that will involve looking at lots of CCTV footage from the various district line tube stations here in West London.
Now, Duncan, you mentioned then the district line. Of course, it is a major commuter artery there through central London. Then service on that disturbed as it's been disrupted and stopped. Now, earlier we spoke with one eyewitness who was at the scene. She lives in the area, and she was very much just saying that the train, of course, at this time is full of people commuting to work, that also there were lots of children, as it is how many children get to school. Her own kids actually on lockdown currently at a school in the area. Tell us, what are residents hearing from police there on the scene? And really describe for us the neighborhood there for those who are not familiar with it.
Well, this is West London. It's quite an affluent area, just close to Fulham, right by Fulham, in fact. There were a lot of people on this tube train. I did speak to one eyewitness who said she was on that tube carriage. She said that it'd been busy all week on the district line. She was on her way into work. But this morning, the carriage was less full, less crammed than usual compared to the first 4 days of this week. Now, in terms of the police response, they have obviously locked down the area. There is a nursery near here, the Zebedee nursery, which was apparently occupied by police. Police went in there to lock the place down to secure the children who were in that nursery during the early stages of this incident. There were rumours initially that there was a knife man on the loose alongside the blast that took place, but that has been dismissed by the police. They say that that was a false alarm. So very much the centre of attention is on this tube carriage where the explosion took place. The forensics and the experts down there looking at that device and the damage caused by the device. And 22 people currently in hospital, according to the National Health Service.
Indeed, Duncan, and as you say, 22 people then injured in this. For the moment, fortunately, it appears no fatalities. But regardless, what we're seeing is that yet again, the City of London has been shaken by what police are calling a terrorist incident.
That's right, yes. Obviously, there are a number of significant incidents earlier this year. Beginning in March, there was an attack by a knifeman at the Houses of Parliament. That was followed by a major attack in Manchester at a music concert in late May. And then, of course, the London Bridge and Borough Market attacks, which were knife attacks in early June, just before the election. So this follows a series of incidents after after a period really of calm in the UK. The UK hasn't been affected as France, for example, in recent years. There was the 2005 tube bombings on the underground in July of 2005, which killed a lot of people. But really the incidents that took place earlier this year were the first significant ones for some time. And it's now, obviously, it's a situation now where people have come to expect this sort of thing to a degree. So no massive surprise that today's incident has taken place in a context where the threat level here in the UK, the official terror threat level, remains elevated.